Hey, World Entertainment, and it looks like Johnny Depp is on the big return as he's now landed his first major studio movie. Yep, he's going to work with David Ellison and Paramount slash Skydance on a remake of A Christmas Carol that will be called this time Ebenezer A Christmas Carol, and of course Depp will be playing Ebenezer Scrooge, which I think is a perfect role for him because that's the type of role he can really sink his teeth into. But it shows the type of direction David Ellison wants to take Skydance. The fact that he has no problem turning around going, I want Johnny Depp for this movie. That's great news. That really is. And it's interesting to see some of the articles and stuff going around that are trying to paint Depp as like, oh, he's the ghost of the past and stuff like this, because they're still butthurt over that trial. You know, the trial that he won after proving his innocence. Like, whatever happened to innocent until proven guilty? That's out the window when it comes to this stuff. Remember, we were all the people who even said when the Jonathan Major stuff happened, it's not a good look for Disney to keep on when they're firing everyone else, including Johnny Depp, but they should at least wait till the trial. And that's exactly what they ended up doing. But let's have a look at this anyway. So Johnny Depp is officially back in the studio spotlight. Under the new leadership of Skydance's David Ellison, Paramount Pictures is set to produce Ebenezer A Christmas Carol with Depp starring as the infamous Miser in a bold new take on the Charles Dickens classic. I hope I said that thing right, the Miser thing. That's what it looks like it says. By the way, I have no idea. I'm supposing that means miserable. I have no idea. It's the first time I've seen it written like that. So according to THR, Paramount is in final negotiations to pick up the project, which will be directed by horror filmmaker Ty West, who directed X, Pearl and Maxine, which I believe is a trilogy. Isn't that the trilogy with, what's her name, Maya Gott, isn't it? I've never seen any of them. But are they all the same, like, story? For any of you who have seen it, let us know in the comments. Are they all the same story, or are they all just different movies, but with pretty much the same cast? I have no idea. But I'm pretty sure that's the trilogy thing that he did. The studio is eyeing a November 13th, 2026 release date. So this thing would move pretty quickly if this gets landed at Paramount, which it sounds like it's going to. So that is a fast turnaround. It's also strange. Why wouldn't you release it in December? But alright. So Andrea Riseborough, I think, joins Depp in the cast with the script written by Nathaniel Halpern. The film is described as a thrilling ghost story set in Dickens' London, following one man's supernatural journey to face his past, present, and future and fight for a second chance. THR makes the point of starting the article by saying it's the ghost from Hollywood's Christmas past, as Johnny Depp has returned in his biggest movie project yet since being ostracized during a contentious and ugly defamation lawsuit with ex-wife Amber Heard, which I love that they don't put in and proved his innocence on one. Paramount Pictures, under the new leadership of David Ellison, is in final negotiations to pick up a new take on Charles Dickens' often adapted A Christmas Carol. So that was the THR report. So the project marks Depp's biggest studio comeback since being dropped from major franchises following his legal battles with ex-wife. Once one of the world's highest paid and most bankable stars, thanks to Pirates of the Caribbean, Alice in Wonderland, don't know if I'd have put that one in there, and Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, don't know if I'd have put that one in there, Depp's Hollywood career hit pause after the public defamation suits in both the US and UK. And remember, it's the UK one that really screwed him over, because the judge found in Amber Heard's favour there. And then it came out, which I don't know how there's never been any rebuke to this, but it came out that, and what I mean by this is how there's a legal pushback and stuff, was that the judge in that trial was actually really, really good friends and very close to Amber Heard's family. So it was like, oh, you weren't exactly non-biased, were you? So how there was no kind of pushback to that is ridiculous. So after being fired from Warner Brothers' Fantastic Beasts in 2020, Depp turned to European cinema, starring in Jeanne Dubarry, I probably butchered that, which premiered, I can't remember what it is. It's the thing where he has like the grey hair and the grey beard. So, actually, this might say it. In addition to Ebenezer, Depp recently wrapped Day Drinker for Lionsgate, a thriller set for release in 2026. So that means he could have two big, well, not big movies. Well, Ebenezer will be the big one, and then the smaller independent one, both next year. I think that Day Drinker, that's the one with where he looks completely different. And of course, rumours continue to swirl that Disney could also bring back Depp as Jack Sparrow. That's more the question of would he be willing to go back with that one, rather than Disney want to bring him back, because Disney can obviously turn around and go, Johnny, our good man, how are you doing? We need you. We really need you. We want you back here for Pirates. And he could be the one that just goes, yeah, no. After what you did to me, no. And that is the thing. Look, we all want him back as Jack Sparrow, but at the same time, you would back him to say, like, after what they did to you, why would you want to go back and work with them? The Scrooge idea now, I think, again, it's a role that would perfectly suit Depp, because it's really that kind of almost eccentric type of character, and I think that could really work. The one thing it doesn't actually say, and I'm curious, what's the time period setting for this? Like, is it going to be properly based on the book version, which was back in, what, the 1800s or whatever? Or will it be more of a modern version? Kind of like my second favourite Christmas movie of all time, Scrooged, with Bill Murray. Now, obviously, that's much more of a very different take on it, you know, and, of course, Bill Murray in that wasn't playing Ebenezer Scrooge. He's playing a character that's meant to be him, but he was frank in that. But Depp being that he will play Ebenezer, and the fact that it's called Ebenezer Christmas Carol, it's like, is it going to be in modern day, or is it going to be back in the past? It sounds more like it'll be in the past, which is fine. I'm just curious as to what way they're going to adapt it, you know, especially as a thrilling ghost story, and he's waiting for the second chance and stuff. So it's going to be interesting to see what way they do it. The director is interesting as well, though. The fact that it's a horror director. So I'm curious then as well, are they going to make it more, and maybe this is why also they want to release it in November as opposed to December. Will it be more of kind of a horror story than your typical Christmas story? That could be an interesting take on it. I don't think we've ever seen a take quite like that. Now, the most horror element of the Scrooge story, of course, is the ghost of Christmas future, you know, because it's pretty much death that shows up and brings them forward and stuff. So the idea that maybe all three ghosts could be, you know, a bit freaky and stuff, that could be an interesting take as well. You know, obviously you would have that Christmas element in there, because it has to, because it's the Ebenezer Scrooge story and it's called A Christmas Carol. But could you actually turn it to be a little more horror based at the same time? That could be interesting. But after all, it's good to see that a big studio that is now under the control of David Ellison, because it's now Skydance Paramount, has reached out and said, yep, we are absolutely willing to use this guy. Let's bring him in. Because that's the first major step. Now, Depp has said he doesn't particularly care about going back to work with Hollywood after what they did to him. But I think if he can start working with these type of people, I think good things could happen. So, what do you guys think anyway? Again, if you've seen those Pearl and Maxine movies, do let me know if they are like a full trilogy, like they're actually the same type of story moving forward, or are they separate movies just with the same people and directed by the same person? Let us know about that. And of course, what do you guys think of this? What do you think of Johnny Depp playing Ebenezer Scrooge? Do you think he's a good fit? What do you think about the time period? Do you think it'll be back in the past, or do you think maybe it'll be more of a modern take? And of course, what do you think of the idea of it being possibly a little more horror oriented in a Christmas setting than we normally used to see with the Scrooge story? Let me know what your thoughts are about all that. And with that, I shall leave it there for this one. So do like, share, subscribe, check out the memberships, hit the hype button, all that good stuff. Cheers. I'll catch you in the next one.